Hello and welcome back to Quartz Like Your Car Brochure channel. Today we'll be looking at the Vauxhall Monaro. Hello, welcome back, and if you are into car brochures, please do subscribe. I'm sure you'll find something useful for yourself and it does greatly help the channel. So, today's episode, the Vauxhall Monaro, produced in the UK between 2002 and 2006. It was a strange car, really. It was a big, rear-engined V8 muscle car, really. A strange thing to bring into the UK, based on the Holden HSV Coupe and also the Pontiac GTO platform. I guess it made more sense in the Australian and the American market. Like I said, a strange car to bring this V8 into the UK, although it certainly was well regarded when it arrived. But anyway, let's have a look at today's brochure. So there we go, the brochure itself, and as you can see, top right hand corner there is the Vauxhall badge, showing this is the Vauxhall Monaro, not the Holden Monaro, but obviously the platform was exactly the same. Talking about the Holden Monaro, that was a big Australian name, first generation, going all the way back to 1968 to 71. Then there was a second generation, 71 to 77, and then this huge gap for the third generation from 2001 to 2006, which is the one basically the Vauxhall Monaro is based on, although it wasn't till 2002 that we got the Vauxhall Monaro in the UK. Like I said, it was a strange car, a big 5.7 litre V8 engine, arriving to the UK. It kind of like got a really good response by all press and critics, of course, because it was a fun car to drive. Although, like I said, a strange car. I mean, who really wants a 5.7 litre V8, or in fact I should rephrase that, who can afford to run a 5.7 litre V8 in the UK with the price of gas? But nevertheless, I'm glad it did arrive. It threw another different type of vehicle into the UK market, and that's always a good thing. And as we turn the page to see the first couple of pages, we're thrown straight away to this lovely shot of this red Monaro. There is a colour chart at the end of this brochure, so we do know this colour is called Red Hot. Not a very imaginative name, but there we go. Just a solid red colour. And at the top there it says, Monaro, no toys, no boys. I really don't know what that's supposed to mean, really. That's a strange thing to put on there. No boys, no toys. I have no idea what they're trying to say. But let's have a look at some of this text. And here it says, Monaro, no toys, no boys. Just when you thought the pure pleasure of driving had been stolen forever by electronic gizmos, along comes a car that gives you total control back to the driver. That car is Monaro. Monaro Adrenaline, the legendary 5.7 litre Chevrolet V8, heartbeat of a nation brought up on the muscle car phenomenon. Monaro DNA, the renowned Holden enthusiasm for the muscle car breed, a wide low stance, aggressive front end, the body language of a genuine performance car you just can't fake or disguise. The combination, a true sports car that simply pulses emotion, a new muscle car for a new generation. And one thing I do like about this brochure is it doesn't really try to hide its roots. It does clearly show the Holden name, so it is showing that, you know, this is also sold in Australia as the Holden, and it's nice to see that they are proud to show that. So, as we look down, similar sort of words, it's showing that it's built to stir emotions, etc, etc. And at the end there it says, quite simply, Monaro comes to you pure. So leave the games consoles to the boys and come back to the real world. Monaro is here, game over. So that's what it's trying to say, no toys, no boys. It's basically saying, get off your games console and drive a real car, which again, it's strange that it's doing that parallel between an interest in computer games and the real thing, I guess. And also, it's mentioning, the lack of control, because there weren't much electronic trickery on this. It was easy to spin the wheels. And at the bottom here, it's just showing here 1964 General Motor plants its biggest V8 into the smallest Pontiac, and the muscle car is born, and long may it reign. So again, linking it to the Pontiac as well, which is nice to see, I think. So there we go, showing a black version now of the Monaro. This colour is actually called Phantom Black. It was a metallic, although you can't make that out here. Those big bonnet scoops really showing it as a muscle car, or trying to show that. The top there says power, no ifs, no buts. So we're going to look at the engine, aren't we? So let's have a look at some of this text surrounding that big small block V8. We've gone on about the engine. It shows us the tiniest little picture of the engine I've ever seen. I don't know why it didn't go into more detail about that, but there is some text here. No matter how fast you're going, the loudest sound inside the Monaro is the rumbling thunder of Chevy's small block V8. Built from lightweight aluminium, it's a 5.7 litre marvel that shares the DNA of the racing engines that scored countless victories on racetracks all around the world, and continues to do so, while road-going versions won the hearts of millions of enthusiastic drivers. There are 50 years of racing heritage beneath every touch of the gas pedal, a constant quest for improvement that puts 354 PS behind every burst of acceleration. But it's not one of those highly tuned and temperamental performance engines. A massive torque output of 500 Newton meters make it an under-stressed and relaxed unit with extreme capabilities. Whatever you ask from it, it delivers. No ifs, no buts. We turn into the centre pages now. We see the yellow one, of course, yellow being my favourite. This particular colour is actually called Devil Yellow. Let's have a look at some of this text where it's going on about style. No fuss, no bother. So here it's saying, like I say, it looks good, too good to be a four-seater. It sits low with a firm grip on the road. On your senses, mean, greedy intakes, a pair of big bore exhausts. One look tells you it means business, and one drive tells you it is the business. And then it goes on talking about the independence of sports, suspension, etc, etc. At the end saying power, handling, braking. The package is complete. Monaro lets you take on your favourite roads with no fuss and eat the motorway miles with no bother. Unfortunately, eating a lot of fuel at the same time. At the bottom it says fashion and style played no part in shaping the muscle car, but its looks said everything everyone needed to know. And then we look at the interior, and it's very plain, it's very ordinary, it's nothing particularly that fancy, really, is it? Sit in it and you know what it's built for. Everything about you tells you, from the firm grip of the leather sports seats to the thick leather wheel. Ignore the buttons, they only work the radio. Concentrate on the wheel, it controls the car and the road ahead. And pretty dull steering wheel to match, really, isn't it? So nothing out of the ordinary, but it's saying, no buttons, no control, it needs a driver to drive it, I think it's trying to say. So there we go. And then we get to the specifications page, so of course we'll have a brief look at that just to see some of the specifications. So then we looked at the safety, and then you actually notice that despite what it said, there is a certain amount of electronic trickery helping keeping the car safe. Though you've got your airbags, of course, but you've got your ABS, you've got your electronic brake fluid distribution, EBD, you've got a switchable traction control as well on there also. And then security, kind of like what you expect. And it moves on to the mechanical, six-speed, manual gearbox, speed sensitive, power assisted steering. So again, you know, it's got power steering, so it isn't completely defunct of all electronics, isn't defunct of all modern amenities either. Wheels are 18-inch 5-sport alloys, and it gives you a little bit of information about the exterior styling, which you can have a look at if you want. Things like, you know, the twin visible exhausts. On the other side, it's talking about the lighting, exterior and convenience features. So we've got electronic front windows and adjustable mirrors, rear parking sensors, which is surprising, variable speed intermittent windscreen wipers. Talks a little bit about the seating and upholstery, and the fascia and controls, instruments and controls, and also the audio, which they put in there as well. And then we get to the next page. It's talking about heating and ventilation, interior lighting, and then additional interior features, and then the Vauxhall Assistance, a 3-year 60,000 mile warranty. And you can have accessories. You can have a big rear wing spoiler, sports exhaust, front and rear cigar lighters and ashtrays if you really want, front and rear mud flaps, console for your mobile phone. Service intervals every 10,000 miles. Insurance group 20, which, you know, was like the top insurance group at the time, so that was also very spendy if you wanted to insure the car, which of course you had to. And a little bit about that ABS and the ventilated front disc brakes and the rear disc brakes as well. And then we get a look at the colour choice. So there it is, my favourite. Tell me which is yours. Devil Yellow, just a solid colour. Red Hot, there was a lot of them in Red Hot, I seem to remember. Again, just a solid colour. Odyssey, a 2-coat metallic. Quicksilver, a 2-coat metallic. They're kind of like your, dare I say it, dull choices. And Phantom Black, which was a 2-coat metallic. And then at the bottom here, it's your engine. So it's a 5.7 V8 petrol, so 5665 cc. And there you can see the gear ratios of that 6-speed manual gearbox as well as the performance figures, which were surprisingly good, really, weren't they? A 5.7 V8 doing over 160 miles per hour in less than 6 seconds. I'm not sure how that translates into the real world, how much control you had. I can't imagine it being a very controllable car around the corners without losing your tail, but there you go. The figures speak for themselves. They are very good. Of course, when we're looking at the miles per gallon, your urban driving, you're only doing 12.4, combined 18.5, extra urban driving 25.7. I think it's pretty meaningless there, to be honest with you. So 18.5 combined on a good day, I guess. And finally, on the back page, it's just the usual garb, but it's telling us, you know, every effort is made to ensure that the contents of the publication were accurate and up to date at the time of going to press, January 2005. So there we go, the Vauxhall Monaro and related Holden Monaro, and of course Pontiac GTO. Let me know what you think about those cars. I don't think the Pontiac GTO was a very big seller, and as such it wasn't very well regarded, but I think, you know, in the UK at least, it was quite a well regarded car. You can still find them around today because, well, nobody could afford to run them, so you can still see quite a lot of very low mileage, very good conditions Vauxhall Monaros in UK, which, you know, they're quite spendy, but you can still get them because at the time people drove them maybe at weekend, but not as an everyday car. But thank you once again for watching Quarterlight. Many more brochure reviews coming in the near future, so please do like and subscribe, and we'll see you very soon. Take care and goodbye.